Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos, brought to you by his books. We got Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and his newest book, which I should be getting a copy of soon, Training, Nutrition, and Supplementation in Bodybuilding, both available on Amazon.com, as well as his website, gtool.com, gtoul.com. Please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Touliatos. How are you, doctor?
Hi, Ron. What's up?
What's up over there, quarantine-wise?
1 week left for the gyms, and I had a post yesterday that I'm not gonna take a day off from the gym because it's almost 95 days next Monday, yeah, without 100 days, eh? Can you believe that?
Oh, dude. Wow, yeah, we're looking at if everything goes to schedule, 3 weeks from today, we're gonna open up our gyms.
That's really late, huh?
It could be worse. I bet there's a couple states I bet aren't going to do it till another month after that. Yeah.
So I guess if there's no quarantine until December, then there might be preparation for the Olympia.
Yeah, I think the Olympia, I think they were smart in putting it, Olympia shirt. I think they were very smart in putting it as late in the year as possible because they had to have the maximum amount of time, and that was the very last weekend they could have done it. I think they'll be okay. I'm just really curious about the expo. I'm curious about audience. So we're going to have to be sitting every other seat or, we're going to have to find out. But we still have 6 months, a little over 6 months away. Well, doctor, you got 19 or 20 questions again. It was one of those weeks. Let's get rolling. Number one, do you prefer to supplement with Pregnenolone and DHEA in the form of a transdermal cream or an oral capsule? And what dose of each do you take? Pregnenolone, DHEA.
Personally, I use both in capsules, oral. So I take at the moment 100 of Pregnenolone and 50 of DHEA, but soon that I'm out of my stores of Pregnenolone, I'll switch to 50 of Pregnenolone in order to be also 50 of DHEA and 50 of Proviron. Now, Pregnenolone in women come in transdermal form, in the HRT, but I believe that the Peros is way better than the transdermal. Okay, so you can ask a pharmacist to make it for you, or you can find it online to get your Pregnenolone that will increase your progesterone. You better sleep, Yeah. It's better than taking progesterone.
Gotcha. Okay. Next one's, what happens when fat tissue is injected with testosterone instead of muscle? So they're injecting into fat instead of muscle.
The absorption is lower. You may experience a bit of lumps into the fat. Yeah. And also, but you avoid the scar tissue that is made in the butt or in the delts.
Like, where would you put it? I don't know many overweight people. Where would you even put? Where would you have enough fat to stick like 1.5 inches deep?
No. We're talking about insulin syringes. Very small.
No, I think they're talking about. I think they're just talking about doing their shots, their steroid shots,
on that
fat instead of muscle.
On that case, if a guy is about 20% body fat, he's a bodybuilder, but he's off season.
Yeah.
And he injects with smaller needles. I can't remember the length.
Yeah.
But if they're injected into the fat, that is something about 2 inches thick, your fat in your butt, then I guess the absorption rate will be slower. And then if this becomes gradual, then you're gonna develop an abscess because the fat has poor circulation. So the drug is not spread within the vessels, and then spread out in the circulation, So it's a risk.
It's trapped, it sounds like.
Yeah, because it's a large volume, It may be 3, 4 ml, 5 ml.
Wow.
And if you inject it into your butt with a small needle, a small length, it's risky because the next week's gonna accumulate over there, and then becomes an abscess like a walnut.
Wow. So go in the delts, people. Yeah. Okay. Here's one: choline and inositol versus milk thistle versus TUDCA. What's the difference? What's the best on cycle to use according to you, doctor?
Each of these agents has different role. Now, choline, inositol, and methionine are lipotropic factors able to reverse the fatty liver disease, either non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or the fatty liver. Okay, and the fat that accumulates within the liver parenchyma, that actually also is the result of chronic accumulation of liver glycogen stores.
Okay.
Then we have the milk thistle or the silymarin, but also we have the Lib52 or the glutathione or the N-acetylcysteine that are able to restore the pharmaceutical hepatitis and transaminemia, so elevation of ALT, AST, or SGOT, SGPT. Now, finally, the TUDCA, these bisalts, are able to restore the second stage of liver disease, which is cholestasis and jaundice, elevation of the cholestatic enzymes, alkaline phosphatase, ALP, or gamma glutaminotransferase, GGT. So unless you don't have yellow skin or yellow eyes, you don't need to take the TUDCAs, all right?
Yellow skin, or if you got yellow skin or yellow eyes, I hope you're doing something. Don't walk around like that for too long, guys.
If you're cirrhotic by drinking also, yes.
Yeah. Could someone use clomiphene or Nolvadex during a light cycle, and they put oral plus testo in order to reduce suppression of HPTA?
No, I think the best way is to use HCG, and you can use those agents if you take, for instance, Anavar or some Proviron or some Winstrol without injectable testosterone. And then you may be able to use the SARMs afterwards as a PCT without the HCG, unless you don't have used exogenous androgens like injectable androgens like testosterone, for instance, or Masteron.
Yep.
Okay, so within the cycle now, if you inject testosterone and other agents, you have to use HCG alongside or afterwards.
Okay, gotcha. Next question, and I want to preface it by this is kind of the first line. Always, when people say they don't want to get too big, they make it seem like it's easy to. It's not easy to get big. We know this. You and I both tried to get very big, and I wasn't Jay Cutler. You weren't Ronnie Coleman. So I just have to say that before this question. He says, with my cycle, I want an athletic look, not a bulky one. D-ball and Deca are just not right for my plans. I've been training for 15 years and I have a good aesthetic already. Last winter, I decided to go with roids. My personal goal for the next 2 years would be to participate in an amateur contest. I would like to replace Anavar with Primo, but it's just too expensive. And there's also the risk that I won't get real Primo. Regarding the PCT, I'm not sure if it makes sense to do it at my age anyway. And I asked him what his age was, and I don't know. He didn't tell us. So I don't know if he's 18 or 60 or... So I guess we can't really answer that, sir. Maybe the TRT is the better option. So I guess we'll have to ignore that part. Is it possible you can talk about detoxification and overall benefits of glutathione supplementation? I've heard this stuff can prevent a lot of diseases. Kind regards from Switzerland. So that's the question.
The question refers about glutathione?
Yeah, I should have just chopped off the rest of the question. My bad.
Glutathione is really useful in case you can find it, legitimate, because there are also fake glutathiones. Come in boxes with 10 vials. Of each vial consists of 600 milligrams and a solvent of 4 ml of saline or water for injection. Okay, it helps a lot. I did it through the COVID crisis. Through the quarantine, I was injecting every other day. Yes, it can help you with the immune response. It can help you with the lungs, because N-acetylcysteine that forms glutathione is a major antioxidant of the lungs. Of course, it can detox the liver, which is a biochemical laboratory within us, the liver.
Yeah.
It prevents oxidation also of the erythrocytes. So it's very important element. Actually, it's produced by the liver. And when we have liver disease, then there's no glutathione production.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know all that. Here we go. Okay, next one says, I have been on TRT for a year, 150 milligrams of test sip a week, which puts my total T and free T at the top of the healthy range. My estrogen is in the middle and my SHBG is on the low side. All my other blood markers are in the healthy range. On paper, it looks ideal, but I am tired every day and I have no sex drive. Any idea what could be going on?
So his SHBG is low and his free testosterone is up, but he has no sex drive.
Right.
Then I guess, what about estradiol? Is it within range?
He says my estrogen is in the middle, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So I guess the only thing that left is the prolactin. If the prolactin is high, then he has issues with libido and anorgasmia.
Gotcha. Okay. So what can you, if you have low prolactin, what do you do?
No, if it's high
prolactin, high
it's
prolactin.
high, yes, you take a dopamine agonist. There are two drugs for this, cabergoline and bromocriptine, so Daxtonex and Parladel.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always hear about cabergoline. Okay. Next one is, I'm currently taking 25 milligrams testananthate every other day for TRT. I would like to add in 250 IU HCG. Should I take the HCG on the same day as my testosterone or on the following day when I don't take testosterone?
So personally, I do it on the same day in order not to, I want to do the injections on the same day. But also there was a time 5 years ago when Dr. Saya from Florida, who was working for DeFi, said that in case you are shooting once a week, so every Monday, then you're using the HCG the day before, because the day before your supposed levels would be the lowest. Injected on Monday, then on Sunday you're going to have the lowest levels. Therefore, this HCG the day before the next shot will give you a lift. All right, but no more. We no more. We don't use anymore that apart the injections. So from within a week, we do it twice a week or 3 times a week or every other day.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to inject, one day testosterone, the other HCG. So every other day, I'm shooting testosterone 25 and HCG 250.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people love injections. They would shoot up 10 times, 20 times a day if they could.
Also, there was a time I was shooting HCG, growth hormone, and testosterone every day. Small doses, yes.
That's a lot of times to stick yourself, though. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Can someone find the ECA, the ECA stack, in Greek pharmacies? Is it legal, or should someone take it from an underground lab? And what's the best way to take it? For example, morning, noon, afternoon? And what are the appropriate doses? ECA stack in Greek pharmacies.
There was ephedrine 20 years ago exactly. So in the summer of 2000, I was using nasal Vaseline, with ephedrine hydrochloride.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in both my
nostrils.
Yeah, it's like a cocaine. Yeah. So before training, I was using it. The point is, it's used for running nose. When you have a cold and your nose runs, because ephedrine does vasoconstriction and then stop the mucus production. There's no ECA stack. There was ECA available in Turkey, and I used it 10 years ago in those tablets of 25 or 50 milligrams. Also in Spain, there was available 20 years ago. In Spain, ephedrine hydrochloride in 25 milligrams tablets. Really good stuff. But no ECA stack in Greece, just ephedrine hydrochloride and also pseudoephedrine. Yeah. For the same purpose.
So did you just use it pre-workout, or did you take it another time during the day?
Pre-workout or empty stomach AM, first in the morning. Now the ratio would be 25 ephedrine, 10 times higher, 250 the caffeine, and double of it the aspirin, so 500 milligrams of aspirin.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Next one is, I'm taking isotretinoin, 10 milligrams every other day while on cycle, and then every day during PCT to cure and prevent acne. Oh, it's an acne drug. What are your thoughts?
Isoretinoic acid. It's the Accutane.
Oh, okay. That's Accutane. Gotcha. Glad you knew. So what do you think of
vitamin A, actually? Okay. Retinoic acid, yes.
So he wants to know, is that okay? 10 milligrams every other day while on cycle, and then every day during PCT. Trying to cure and prevent acne. The point
is, don't use it along with 7-alkylated orals, because you're going to mess up your liver. Okay, only with injectables, and every other day, and perhaps take it sublingual. But I think it's a capsule.
Gotcha.
Retinoic acid, yes.
Here's a question. I've actually once in a while I see a question, go, oh, I wish I asked that question. Here it is. Is there any actual proof that PCT is beneficial at all? As we know, most of the guys who are using steroids for years end up on TRT in the end anyway. The SARMs are real poison for the brain. So is there something solid to justify their use? That's the first question. Then I'll get to the next one.
So there was a video by Connor who said, PCT, is it a waste of time? Is it a fraud? The point is, if you don't do PCT, imagine that you have to take off from 2 cycles, all right?
Mm.
For 2 weeks, for 2 months. I'm sorry.
Right.
How you gonna live with a crashed testosterone?
Yeah.
So after 2 weeks, then your testosterone will go downhill because they are already super high at the end of the cycle. If you're injecting 0.5 gram or 1 gram, so within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're gonna crash. How are you able then to have sex or to train in the gym or recover or be mentally good?
Yeah.
So I guess you need a little bit of lift, not just to make gains, but to be biologically active.
Right.
It's inevitable, of course, if you're on and off for 20 years. But the point is, between those 2 cycles, how the hell are you gonna survive?
Yeah.
At least mentally, a little bit, not physically so much, but mentally.
Yeah. No, I remember those days. I remember. It sucked.
Yeah. Very dark days, yes. Now, the SARMs, the point is, that's why Chrysler said that very small doses of SARMs, either 25 or 20.5. So half a pill every other day. So 12.5 milligrams of clomiphene. We need to use small doses, and also 10 milligrams of tamoxifen instead of some ridiculous 100 milligrams of clomiphene. That's great. You're going to jump from the window,
Geez, I hope not, but yeah, people do get emotional on Clomid.
Oh, come on,
sure.
blur vision also.
Yeah, I don't want that. My vision's bad enough. Here we go. Here we go. Another doctor. I am Dr. Ahmed from Iraq. I'd like to ask which one is better in less suppression of the HPTA. So which suppresses your HPTA less? Deca, standard Deca, nandrolone decanoate, the long-acting, or NPP, nandrolone phenylpropionate?
No, it's the same, but the point is that nandrolone antaconate or decaonate clears the system way slower, so the suppression will be greater because you still have the drug within you. The point is both of the drugs may elevate prolactin, may elevate under abuse estrogens. However, they have low androgenicity and they are metabolized to dihydronandrolone instead of dihydrotestosterone, which is a less potent androgen. That's why Deca is less harsh on the prostate and on the scalp. But I guess like testosterone propionate, unlike testosterone enanthate, for instance, or cypionate, it will clear the system in 48 hours. Therefore, you don't have the side effects that much compared to the other drugs that they have a half-life of 1 week.
Gotcha.
And actually, Deca has 2 weeks half-life. It's very slow.
Oh. So when he said the second part of the question was, how do you overcome the side effect? I think he means HPTA suppression.
Well, you have to add an androgen. You have to add testosterone or masterone, proviron, in order to have a kick within. Actually, either you use it or not, you're going to have suppression. The point is to feel good on suppression with a pseudo elevation, which is exogenous use,
Gotcha. We don't get too many beauty questions, doctor, but here we go. You have very good skin, George. What's your secret?
Well, I apply
Moisturizer?
egg yolk in yogurt.
Are you serious?
No, come on.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have believed you.
Listen, when I was 20 years old in medical school, I had a lot of stress, and also breaking up with girls, and stuff. So I had a problem with acne on my forehead. But I guess it was also the hormones way before I started steroids,
Yeah.
Afterwards, when I was following my first cycles and I was using a lot of stuff in my 27, I also noticed acne right after my show. And perhaps the last week, I was using really strong drugs, like halotestin, Winstrol, Anavar, everything was pharmaceutical grade, but dianabol. But after a certain age, when I fixed my nutrition, so I never eat junk food. I always eat healthy fats, always fresh fruits, organic foods, But for the last 5 years, I apply on a daily basis cream, exfoliate also. And of course, for my dark circles, I'm trying to sleep enough. When I don't sleep, there was a time I had a girlfriend. She was a plastic surgeon. She did me pro bono some Botox here.
Oh, Botox, yeah.
Yeah, but after 8 weeks, after 6 months, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's really painful because they inject you with insulin over here.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen it many times. But okay, Botox, everybody. That's the best. Yeah, if you guys got the crow's feet, go get your Botox, people. There's no shame.
Also gets buttocks because he's puffy sometimes,
It was actually developed for migraine headaches, correct? Botox?
It's actually neurotoxin that paralyzes
Yeah.
the muscle. And
Yeah.
you know that yes, you cannot do these things. Point is,
Sometimes the people can't move their faces at all. They got so much crap in their face.
do
It's
you
like a
know that
mask.
yeah, some transgender males, they
Mm.
inject Botox in their calves in order to diminish in size.
To their
Yeah,
what? Their calves?
yes, in order to diminish in size, to atrophize the muscle. The same some gays do that.
Oh, why
To
wouldn't you
have
want big,
skinny, to have
uh,
skinny calves. No, no.
skinny calves? Oh, that doesn't look good on anybody. Anyway, here's a back question. Is actually a training question for you, doctor. Disc herniation between L5 and S1 is a common problem among athletes. Aside from NSAID usage, could you please give any advice in order to train safely, but also with intensity while having this problem? Do you believe that the usage of a weightlifting belt only during heavy sets could help or have a negative effect because it weakens lower back muscles?
Well, I had the same problem when I was performing T-bar rows, and actually, my intention was into a hot chick over there. So I was distracted, and I felt a horrible spasm in my lower back. And
Mm,
afterwards, for a couple of months, I was not able to do rows. Bend over, barbell, and dumbbell also, and T-bar, of course. So I was doing seated rows on the machines.
yeah.
Some lat exercises, and of course the pull downs. But on the horizontal level, I was just sitting, and or perhaps sitting reversely on the incline and
Yep.
doing the yes. So you become isolated, and your lumbar area is not contracted at all.
Yeah.
But I had some series of injections. There were enzymes that were injected into the gluteus, and those enzymes come from Germany or Italy.
Hmm.
My friend, who's an orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine, he used to be in Olympiacos, which is the greatest soccer club in Greece.
Hmm.
So I was injected, and they have healing properties and anti-inflammatory properties. But the point is, you need physical therapy. You need to apply heat in the lumbar section before you go to bed at night,
Hmm. Hmm.
And also you need the belt for those exercises that they stress the lumbar area. The point is, if you abuse the belt and you don't release it between sets, then your rectus spinae and your lumbar muscles will become a little bit atrophied, like the collar you use here, when you have
Hmm.
crashes in your cervix.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
A neck brace. Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, you have to avoid those exercises that bother you, that really stress your lower. And you need also a good abdominal, because you need to have balance. If you have weak erector spinae lumbars and you have strong abdominals, you're gonna bend forwards.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in because my lower back was destroyed many, many years ago. So hammer strength machines, incline bench, pulling dumbbells with your chest supported T-bar rows, and all those hammer machines are great because you don't have to contract
But
your lumbar
isolate,
spine.
isolate the waist, the midsection. Do
Yeah.
not move your pelvis.
Yeah. Cytadren. Before we answer this question, was Cytadren one of the drugs that they thought killed Andreas Munzer?
Yes, it was Orimet Cytadren from Novartis.
Okay, so here's the question. What's your opinion on Cytadren for cortisol suppression? Is there another drug on the market like that?
No, this was very notorious. And actually, as Bill Welling describes, this drug was initially for breast cancer. The point is, they realized that as it suppresses estrogens, it also suppresses cortisol. Now, both of those hormones are catastrophic just before the show because they hold water,
Yeah.
and they make you also lose muscle. So they also use it Cytadren, not just for the cortisol crash, which is catabolic, but also for in order to relax, because cortisol is a stress hormone.
Hmm.
So I knew a guy who was a friend of mine. He was with a very well-known guru. He was trying to become a pro 3 years ago, and he confessed me that his coach gave him one pill of Cytadren the day before the show to have a better sleep and relax. The point is, if you abuse this drug, your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis will shut off.
Hmm.
Therefore, either you have to use it every other day and not straight every day, or you have to apply alongside hydrocortisone to stimulate your axis from the adrenals.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if you're gonna crush your cortisol, and then you're gonna have an adrenal fatigue.
Hmm.
I guess this was not just the reason that Andres passed away, but
Hmm.
it was another among the other factors also. He had already liver cancer. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Didn't know that. Hmm.
He had large nodules like ping pong, like table tennis balls
Wow.
in his liver. He had also, his stomach was bleeding, severely, and had pills with him that were found. Yeah, sad.
Yeah, he was only 32 or 33, I think, when he passed. Very young.
31.
31. Wow. Hmm. Here we go. Next question, doctor. Could you please compare drostanolone and metenolone? Is there any difference between these two substances? According to Roid test, which I performed twice, my Primobolan, which is Bayer's methenolone enanthate, which I have bought from a Turkish pharmacy, is drostanolone. Is there anything else I could do in order to check the authenticity of my Primobolan? If it was faked with nandrolone, I could check estrogens and prolactin levels. But in this case, is there any characteristic difference between these two drugs?
Yeah, that's a good point. This is a medical student, a follower of mine, who is doing great questions. This is interesting because the Primobolan, it's a Primo, and it's actually the real thing from Turkey, Bayern.
Hmm.
However, this guy is able to buy the Roid kit from the States, and the Primo, it's a counterfeit, so it's a copy of the pharmaceutical grade. That actually in the black market costs $10. That 1 ml, 100 milligrams costs $10. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And actually, it's faked by Masteron. Now, this is a really smart thing because both of them do not aromatize. Both of them are weak anabolics, okay? And both of them are DHT derivatives. So this drug dealer that made it, he sold the Primo for he sold the Masteron for Primo.
Yeah, smart.
Maybe half of the price, even less.
Yeah.
He was a smart dude. If it was a testosterone propionate, you would expect an elevation of estrogens.
Right.
And also, yes, as it was Deca, of course, there would be an elevation in prolactin or whatever else.
Yeah.
And now those two drugs, hopefully they do not aromatize, but I guess Primo is more anabolic than Masteron, that is used as an androgen. Okay. And Masteron also has some antiestrogenic properties, but anyway, Primo also does not aromatize. So
you would never know the difference, really. Basically.
Now, if you use 600 milligrams of Primo or 600 milligrams of Masteron, I guess you're gonna notice more hardness in the Masteron and dry effect. In the Primo, perhaps a little bit more of anticatabolic effect, because it's supposed to be an anabolic with a low androgenicity.
Okay, gotcha.
But Masteron is considered as an androgen,
Yeah. Okay. Next one is, my friend is on thyroid medication, T4 thyroxine, 75 micrograms a day for hypothyroidism for more than 10 years. The problem is she's getting a lot of skin rashes and high body heat every day. Poor girl is taking 3 to 4 baths daily to avoid the heat. Question, is this symptom related to the T4 or something else?
Yes, it's the T4. Therefore, she might undergo a heart echocardiogram and see if she has any arrhythmia. So in that case, she may lower the dose to 50 micrograms of T4 because 75 would be high. Also check out the TSH to see if the gland is optimized. But this is the heat intolerance that you develop with hyperthyroidism under natural levels, not exogenous use,
Yeah.
So she's getting a lot of medication, I think, and she has the classic side effects: sweating, speeding heart rate, speeding breathing, tachycardia, tachypnea, sweating, insomnia also, and actually also muscle loss, muscle wasting.
Oh, geez, that's the worst one. So cutting her dose might help?
Yeah, I think she has to drop to 50 perhaps.
Okay. Question, doctor. What is your opinion on cardarine for fat burning purposes? I'm 46 and not very fancy of strong agents like clen or ephedrine. The idea is a kind of cycling during cutting period. Cardarine for 6 weeks and yohimbine the next 6.
Now, cardarine affects the utilization of energy from fat tissue. Okay, I don't think that it interferes with heart rate, with adrenaline and basal metabolic rate, but it shifts the caloric expenditure from the glycogen stores to the adipose tissue. Therefore, you have to perform a lot of cardio, prolonged cardio, and stack it also with L-carnitine, liquid L-carnitine on empty stomach, because also carnitine favors the fat burning under fasting conditions, you know, and the transport of the free fatty acids into the mitochondria for the burning, for the beta oxidation. Now, yohimbine, of course, it works like clenbuterol or ephedrine or thyroid hormones or caffeine, so you're going to have a heart rate. But the difference with yohimbine is that, unlike the other agents, it performs vasodilation in the periphery, so you can still have sex when you take yohimbine, unlike the other agents that you cannot have sex right after the gym when you have taken ephedrine or clen before, or caffeine, you know, because the penis works with vasodilation. Ephedrine actually, yohimbine actually was given in the late 90s. There was a supplement by Steve Blackman, the male fuel, that was containing yohimbine hydrofluoride in capsules. And I remember a gay friend of mine who showed me, this is what I take to have sex with my boyfriend.
Male fuel.
Male fuel, yes. Male fuel.
Yep.
It was tribulus terrestris with yohimbine hydrochloride. Yes.
Yeah. Twin Lab supplements in the 90s were awesome. They really were.
Way ahead of the era, you know.
Ripped fuel. That was the best.
Yeah. Okay. And that was Rip Fuel Extreme, you know. It costed $80 20 years ago in Greece.
Wow.
A lot.
Wow, I don't know what it costs here. I hope it didn't cost that much, because geez, that in today's money that'd be like $150, I guess. So here we go. Here's an odd question, doctor. Both of you are creative and write a lot. Do you ever use products like modafinil to help with mental focus and clarity? How does Dr. T feel about these products that stimulate the brain?
Yes, these are the so-called nootropics. Modafinil works, and I guess it does not interfere heart rate and adrenaline. So it improves your cognitive function as a nootropic, but it doesn't speed up heart rate like caffeine, for instance, or nicotine. And there are also nootropics. Modafinil, I think it's used by pilots from the F-16, you know, F-35. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If you want to have, you know, a clear tunnel vision, but snipers use it also, you know, or F1 drivers, you know, MotoGP, whatever. I personally use tyrosine with caffeine. Okay. These are some nootropics, and perhaps what else? Some phenylalanine also, because tyrosine and phenylalanine, along with caffeine, they work synergistically, you know, for the mind focus.
Yeah, I mean, so to answer the question, I don't take any of these unless it's in some of my pre-workouts and I don't even know it. I don't know.
Yes,
it probably is.
Pre-workout.
Tyrosine's usually is in pretty much every pre-workout now, I think.
Yes, for this purpose, for the tunnel. Yes.
But no, sir, I don't take any specific drugs for writing. I'm already on steroids. I don't want to take any more drugs, so that's it.
You know that cocaine does the same, you know, huh?
I've heard that. I can't be snorting cocaine every day either. I wouldn't get much done. Next one is, okay, here's a long one. I took for 90 days 60 pills of Ostarine, and even more spread like 5 months, 90 pills MK667 from time to time Proviron, just in case the pills wasn't supposed to be like an estrogen inhibitor. I take now a box of Anavar 20 milligrams first week, 30 milligrams second, and 40 milligrams the rest. I also have insulin for free from a diabetic friend of mine. I use 5 to 8 IU a day, 2 in the morning and the rest after training. Should I do a PCT? I have hard erections and good semen volume. Good to know, sir, but not that much desire for sex. Could I start an injectable cycle of tests immediately after the Anavar ends? I'm 36 and a half. And a half, that's like when you're talking about a baby, he's 3.5. Just in case I don't want to take anything afterwards, would my PCT work harder if I go immediately for a test cycle? So I guess he wants to know, should he just go back onto low dose of test maybe, or PCT?
I would prefer PCT because if he continues with using, move from SARMs or from SARMs or the other agent he's using, and then go to testosterone, then his HPTA will continue to be shut off. Personally, I believe that estrogen suppresses natural production of testosterone. Okay, it's not that innocent. So then he also moves to testosterone will completely also shut off. So I guess he has to try PCT and see how it goes. But I guess PCT will improve his erectile dysfunction. Otherwise, if he uses testosterone, then the problem is solved from the one point. But after the testosterone, he will face problems to really start his own production.
No, the odd thing was he says he doesn't have erectile dysfunction. He has good erections, but he has no sex drive. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that.
If this happens, is the result of 5-phosphodiesterase drugs. So if you take a Cialis, libido, Viagra, you have a hard on without wanting to have sex. Because if you want to have sex, it's the libido, the sex drive that starts from here, you know?
Right. Well, that's why I think testosterone is awesome. You should be taking tests, but oh well. Oh, wait, was there more? My God, there was more to that question. One more question. Let me just give you his last question there. Does injecting insulin make you insulin resistant, and how soon?
Not at all. The opposite. The opposite. Injecting growth hormone will make you insulin resistant, but injecting insulin will lower your blood level, your blood sugar levels, your serum glucose. So listen, what is diabetic? Diabetic means that you have elevated blood glucose. Any drug that lowers this, like IGF-1 and insulin, makes you non-diabetic, okay? So, no, it improves insulin sensitivity. The point is, you might become, this is fatal, you know, if you inject a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay. He apologized at the end because it's hard to express himself in English. Yeah, I just want to say, I know we have a lot of viewers all around the world. Please try to get your questions sensical in English, because if we can't get the question correctly, if I can't get the question correctly to the doctor, we can't give you the correct answer. So find someone that's really good with English to help you maybe. I don't know. Next question is that cycle question we were talking about. Hey, doc, I'm currently on prescribed TRT of 200 milligrams testosterone cypionate per week. I've done cycles in the past and was thinking of running a test and trend cycle next. I eat very clean, even while bulking, and track my macronutrients daily. My goal is to compete in classic physique sometime next year. I'm currently 6 foot, 220 pounds at about 10% body fat. My weight class is 6 foot to 6'1" and up to 220 pounds. The cycle protocol I'm thinking of running goes as follows. Week 1, 150 milligrams test cypionate twice weekly. Week 2, 150 milligrams test CYP and 75 milligrams Tren E twice weekly. Week 3, 200 milligrams test C and 100 milligram Tren E twice weekly. Week 4, 200 tests, 100 milligram 10 twice weekly. Week 5, 150 tests, 75 Tren. So now he's going down. Week 6, 100 test, 50 Tren. Also, I have prescription for Arimidex and was thinking of running 0.5 milligram twice a week. All my blood work is perfect and within normal range. Just wanted to know your thoughts on this cycle and if there's anything you would change based off your expertise.
Yes, the problem with this guy is that he wants to compete at the physique, right?
Yeah.
He's 6 feet and the limit, the weight limit is 220.
Yeah.
The problem is that he's 220 at the moment with 10% body fat. Mm-hmm. Now, if he drops down to 5% to be on stage, his body weight will go to 200. Mm. So with this kind of doses, you cannot preserve muscle. You cannot have serious anti-catabolic effect, because actually, if the lean out process to burn fat is anti-catabolic, so you need to hold muscle with those agents. You cannot build muscle while you burn fat and you prepare for a show, you know? That's why the off season is for, to build muscle in the fat and then kill the fat and hold the muscle.
Right.
So injecting, for instance, 75 Tren and 100 of testosterone, I guess the Beach Boys use way more doses than that.
The Beach
So
Boys. I love
I
it.
don't want to talk specifically about doses, but I guess what I heard of for the shows, at least triple those doses.
Mm, yeah.
Now, personally, I was using 400 in testosterone propionate per week, 400 tren, from the injectables, 400 MPP, because it was every other day 100,
Yeah.
So those were reasonable doses, I guess, casual doses,
Yeah, that's pretty moderate, actually. Yeah. It's 1,200 milligrams total. That's not a whole lot. For a contest prep cycle?
No, listen, if this boy was 5% or 6%, 7% at 220,
Yeah.
I would tell him that you're very close to your target, to
Yeah.
your goal. But now, either he has to do some bulking and go to 240 with 15% and then drop to 220 with 5%, because this guy is off. He's fat for the. If he gets ripped, he's gonna lose a lot of muscle, and then he won't have a lot of muscle for the weight limit.
Yeah. I mean, 6 foot, that's very tall for any kind of physique
But
competition these days.
the physique boys with these long shorts,
Men's physique. Yeah.
yeah, the men's physique, they are tall boys, good looking
Uh,
and tall.
Not all of them are tall. I've seen quite a few short ones, but I go to a lot of shows, so I see all kinds of physiques. Okay, next.
The basketball look,
The basketball look. Yeah, some of those guys could jump right into men's physique and do pretty well, actually. The ones with the wide shoulders and the small waists. Next one is, can AAS use cause HPA, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis dysfunction, as it causes HPG, hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis dysfunction, causing corticotropin deficiency and leading to perhaps aldosteronism.
Yeah,
Steronism. Ever since I stopped my self-prescribed TRT, 100 milligrams test plus HCG, I have very vascular arms, more than I used to, and I have gained fat. Also, I get hypotension post-exercise. Blood pressure drops to 100/50 immediately, like 3 minutes after setting my weights down, and I have to lay down for half an hour. I sometimes feel dehydrated and dizzy out of the blue and have to drink a salty drink to feel normal again. And the more I drink, the more I excrete as if I can't hold on to enough fluids. My hemoglobin is 165 G/L, grams per liter, so anemia is out of the question. What's going on with this guy, Doc?
So I don't think that steroids interfere with the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, but unless you are abusing a stimulant. But when you stop using steroids, your blood pressure drops. Because aldosterone is no longer stimulated from the steroids. Therefore, you may notice this kind of hypotension, especially if it's summertime, okay? And when you use steroids, of course, you elevate your blood pressure because aldosterone does water retention, and then this fundamental how blood pressure elevates. So I guess it was a transition from injections to non-injections, and not from this cycle to go to PCT or whatever off-cycle therapy, and a drop in blood pressure that makes him feel that he kind of has this Addison syndrome, the opposite at Cushing's.
Yeah.
I guess there's no other correlation with cortisol, okay, or ACTH, unless this guy was abusing big time the pre-workouts.
Like many of us do. I'm definitely an abuser of pre-workouts.
They are addictive, yes.
They taste delicious. What are you going to do? Okay, so last question came in. We call these buzzer beaters because I had just about to cut off the questions for the week. This guy slipped it in. What if someone wants to check if he can compete professionally and check if he has the genetics fast? Can they use test and trend for their first cycle?
I don't think so. In order to check out your genetic potential, you have to train at least for 5 years. I was training for 10 years to reach my genetic potential. I had a six-pack. My body weight was 75 kilograms, so I was about 165 at 5'7", natty at 25 years old.
Yeah. And
then I started using mild agents like testosterone, Deca, Primo, Proviron, and I tried Trenbolone 10 years after, and so yes, you cannot drive a Ferrari when you get your diploma, yes, and you drive, a Mini Cooper,
So, I just want to add my 2 cents because I get questions
Yes.
like this a lot. If you want to check, competing professionally, it's very hard to, even today when there's a lot more opportunities to turn professional, it's still, I know a lot of people with excellent physiques who never turned pro, were never able to turn pro. It's very competitive. But if somebody wants to know just if they have good enough genetics to possibly be a pro, you could see it without having all the mass first. I mean, you're not going to know if you can build a mass, like you said, for years. You're not going to put that on in one cycle, but you can see your bone structure. Do you have wide clavicles? Do you have a narrow waist? You can look at your muscle bellies. Do your muscles go all the way? Are they long or are they short? Do you have short calves, short tris and bis, short quad? If you have short muscle bellies, you're probably not going to ever be a very large person. You just don't have the muscle cells. And if that structure is the bone structure, you can take all the drugs in the world. You're never going to change your bone structure. No matter how much mass you put on, it's the same. So it's a legitimate question, but he didn't know all these factors that go into
So if
physique.
you're also an ectomorph, a hot gainer, you can add some serious muscle. If you're a mesomorph or an endomorph, you can add serious muscle.
Yeah. And I want to add too, and you can comment on this. They'll point to a certain bodybuilder and say, well, he does a pro, and they'll say, well, he didn't have good genetics. And I would say nobody on the pro stage, nobody has bad genetics. If they had bad genetics, they would never be on that stage. If you compare the perfect genetics or close to it, a Phil Heath or a Flex Wheeler, most pros don't have genetics that good, or a Ronnie Coleman. But compared to the average person, their genetics are light years better than the average guy or girl that you see in the gym. They're still genetic freaks. That's all. That's all I want to say. All right. Well, doctor, I'm very happy that you said 1 week from today your gym's open up in Greece.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're gonna have a party, man. I'd throw a party in that gym. Yeah.
Make a
Invite
pray.
everybody.
Make a pray.
Have a cookout in the parking lot. Have some beers for after, whatever you want.
Have a pray before your first set.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you because I know you didn't have any weights at all, so you're really, really needing that gym back. So I'm glad you're getting it back by the next time we talk. Cool. Well, everybody, again, please go to the website gtool.com. Check out what he's got there. Also want to get the book there, Bodybuilding the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And of course, every Tuesday on musculardevelopment.com is Dr. T Tuesday. That's when these videos post on that website and YouTube, and a new article by Dr. Tuliatos every week. What are you talking about this week, Doctor?
The stimulants.
Okay. Stimulants. We've been talking about those a lot today.
It's about time to lose the body fat, huh?
Oh, perfect timing because it's June. This is, now that your gyms are opening up, you can train and get jacked and look good for the beach, hopefully. Cool. Well, doctor, thank you so much. That was a lot of questions this week. And as always, you got through them. People, leave your questions in the comment section under these videos. We take them all during the week, and then we answer them in the next video the next week. That's how it works. If you have very complicated cycle questions, if you want the doctor to advise you on cycles, you can contact him on his Instagram page or on that website. I don't want to get into the point where we're just giving cycle advice on these.
It's personalized. Yes, it's strictly
Yeah, because it's not going to help too many other people. That's just going to be personal to you.
You need lab work before every cycle,
Right. So
never neglect that. You have to be safe to start.
So many athletes have consulted with the doctor, and they're very, very happy with their results. So you'll be in very good hands. Dr. Tuliatos, thank you so much for taking the time. And thanks everybody for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone. We'll see you next time.